The Talking Leeds podcast with Arron Marshall and George Brooke.
Good evening and welcome to Talking Leeds Deadline Day special with me, Arron Marshall, and Mr. George Brooke. He is here. He's in his black Bentley ready. Is Mr. George Brooke. You can see
wow!
him in the background.
That is
look at this. Look at
incredible.
There you go. He's in his black Bentley line outside
That
Arron Road.
is incredible. I don't know how you've done that, but that looks very. Yeah, that looks very lifelike.
I can't take the credit for it, George, but I can say thank you to Mr. Jimbo Broken Chair on Twitter for sending that to us. There you go. I'll just put it on for those who are watching live on YouTube. I'm just going to do it so you can just appreciate this little picture. Have a look at this, George. Here we go. For those who are listening on the pod, you've just missed a picture of George in a black Bentley outside Arron Road.
It looks like I'm driving somewhere.
He's ready to drive people to Arron Road to get a medical because it seems
drive
so
people up the wall more like. But there you go, Aaron. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough, Jimbo. What a good show that is. That looks very lifelike and
it looks good.
It's scary. Scary. Realist 369, formerly known as Pele 10, I think. Is that you?
No.
It's Monday. It is Monday. Well done. You can know the days of the week.
It's Monday and it's the transfer deadline day. We've done these for years. You know this now, regular viewers and listeners, when we were on the LS11 and we used to do them religiously. And we still do. We even get George sometimes outside Arron Road, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, I was just reminiscing, Aaron, well, in my own brain, about the time that I did go to Arron Road. I think I met you, didn't I?
Yeah.
We were waving at Mr. Kinnear, and then and then you left, and I was there all evening for LS11. I was talking to Tim Thornton, who for a time I carried on that conversation for some time, and he was basically, it was a bit of confusion. It was that day we signed Bamba Dieng, and then he didn't get on the plane, and then we signed Willie Nonto instead. But yeah,
it's winter transfer windows. I think I was listening to Talk Sport on the way home from work today, and I just think nobody really knows what's going on. And I just think Leeds United fans, let us know your thoughts on the window. Buendia I can't even say his name. You say it for us, George.
Who's it, Aaron?
Who we've signed.
Buonanotte.
Buendia, we would love to sign.
Buendia. If we'd have got Buendia, Aaron, on deadline day in the summer, that would have been absolutely fabulous, wouldn't it? Yeah. He's gone on to have a really good season. Ironically, both those lads we tried to get on the deadline day in the summer have both gone on to have really good seasons, to be fair. Harry Wilson and Buendia, either one of them in the end would have been pretty decent. We're going to have Buonanotte, whatever his name is, the Argentinian lad who is a little bit of a, it's not much of a muchness, is it really? Now I've seen there is a medical going on as well, apparently. Aaron, if you're led to believe, for the Armenian boy from Russia. But I don't think that is true.
Well, there you go. What we do know is that Leeds probably won't sign anybody, and you'll get instant reaction from us when the window closes in about 10 minutes' time.
Well, don't forget,
go on.
don't forget, Aaron, mate, of course, there is the deal sheets to go in at 9 o'clock if things go.
These deal sheets aren't happening. It's so simple. I don't think we're going to get anybody. It seems to be
such a dead duck, isn't it? Good evening to Jimbo, and good evening to Carl. Good morning, good afternoon, good night to everybody watching. Good evening. I was so taken by that picture you sent in, Jimbo. I was taken aback.
Yeah.
But, yes.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Carl says, good evening, both. What a disappointing deadline day. We won't sign anyone, but probably try to make it up to the fans by announcing a new contract for someone. Yeah, probably Daniel Farke. Why not? I don't know. It's a bit of an interesting one, this, isn't it? Because, you know, you look at the rumours and you look on social media and you think, well, who's going to try and get something going here? But there's absolutely nothing happening.
No, there is something happening. Aaron, it's just not true. People are spouting rumours, trying to start something.
That's what I'm trying to say. There's just nothing going. There really isn't.
Coming here from this, that, and the other. Well, who cares? There's 10 minutes to go. Nobody's going to sign. And if we did sign somebody, it would be very, very much a last gasp, a bit of excitement to get us all in a bit of a fluster. But I don't feel like that's going to happen today. Yeah. It's always a bit of a disappointment, isn't it? Really, just everything. You know, the transfer window, all this build up for no reason. We know what we need, and to be honest with you, Aaron, Mr. Farke, his hands are, like you said to me this morning, or. You know, his hands are tied, really, you know, and he wants things. He's been asking, but the 49ers don't seem to want to give. For me, they don't want to back him. And for me, it shows
you know, you look at this window and, you know, there's 9 minutes to go in the window. It's always difficult to, you know, recruit in this, but you know, we look at you look at what Leeds were chasing. You know, Strand Larsen comes to mind here, where we've chased him since middle of January and we just couldn't get it done. I thought it would have been a good signing if we'd have got that one over the line, but they're just. Yeah, I know they're paying over the odds for him. Well, Palace putting an over the odds bid, didn't they, for him? That's probably going to fall through, isn't it, that one? We don't think that's going to happen.
No, I think it's going to happen. I think he's passed the medical, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Although I don't know, it hasn't gone. That'll go to the deal sheet, won't it? But I don't think it's gone through just yet. Obviously, Mateta's failed his medical at AC Milan, or they've decided not to. You know, partake. You know, take up that option of signing him. So I don't know. You know, it looks to me like Mateta's going to come back and we'll have Strand Larsen as well. So Mateta's a bit injury prone, but he's a great player when he's on form. And Strand Larsen, let's see what happens. But real disappointing. Not that they didn't get him because it was a lot of money, but just that they didn't get somebody that there's surely somebody there. And you say it's a difficult window. I don't think it is really. I think that's a bit of a myth. And, you know, the other teams are signing players for umpteen amounts of money. Look at Man City, you know, they've got Semenyo, you know, for a lot of money. They got Gahey as well from Palace for a lot of money. They're two top players and they both come in January. It does happen. I don't think it's really that hard. If you want to push, I don't know what the big situation is.
The problem is though, if they get both in, their PSI is going to get hit because they're paying 50 million quid or whatever for Larsen. They need to have, you know, they're not cash rich, aren't Palace. They let Gahey go for 20 million quid. Well, he was going anyway. You know, they're just. I don't know how it works for them. I don't know. I'm not a Palace fan. I don't know their books. I'm just thinking off the top of my head here, but I don't know. It's just really difficult, that one. It's just I just look George at the deals. Larsen, we've chased him and chased him and chased him, and what's frustrating is Leeds just didn't get it over the line. That's the issue. They couldn't get it done. He wanted to come. He wanted to be here. His agent's a season ticket holder. They're just going to get it done. And I don't know if they were haggling over 4 or 5 million quid or something like that. And I said this to Jerry. I said, look, the issue here with Leeds is that they're haggling and trying to get it as cheap as possible, but they just won't pay the big bucks. If they were going to pay 40 million quid, pay it. It's peanuts for a Premier League club. It really is.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's it, isn't it? Arron, at the end of the day, I don't know how much money they've got. I mean, they're trying to sign Dwight McNeil, aren't they, from Everton now as well? So they're trying to get him in as well, whether they're trying to
Why can't we go in for him, though? He'd be a great signing for us.
Yeah, but it's not what they need, is it, really? I don't think they need an attacking winger, whatever. They need an out-and-out striker. That's what they're crying out for, really. We've got enough wingers, Okafor, Willie, Dan James is coming back. Bonanotte can play there. Aronson can play there. They're all like mixed in forwards, 10s, whatever, wingers, 10s. We need an out-and-out striker because Lucas Nemecha and Calvert-Lewin, they're not going to stay fit all season. Joe Perreault is barely in the squad anyway nowadays.
You look at like what Carl said here, and he's absolutely spot on. Look at Pascio, De Ketelaere. We hang on and put all our eggs in one basket, and then we say we tried and we didn't get that top player. We don't know, listen, Larson, it's a lot of money which was floated around for him, but that's ultimately what you're going to be paying for a Premier League striker these days. Yes, we've got Calvert-Lewin and Nemecha on freeze, but if you're wanting to bring somebody in to help bolster that area in the field when you want real quality, you have to pay big money. Premier League strikers, look what we paid for Rutter. 3-4 years ago, whenever it was. We paid 40 million quid for him, and he was an unknown.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rutter had been doing a thing in Germany before.
Yeah, but it was a big gamble, and we to get him to sign, George, we had to spend big money.
That wasn't on deadline day, was it? Oh, it was close.
No, but it's in the January transfer.
It was January, yeah. It was January 20. It was 3 years ago now, wasn't it? With that, January 23 came in. And obviously, we didn't bear fruit for him until the season afterwards, but it is gamble, but a gamble sometimes pay off. They don't always not pay off. And I feel like it's a gamble in itself. Is Leeds just sitting and saying, hey, we're all right with a crocked couple of strikers and a lad who's had about 100 odd minutes of football on the pitch this season and no goals.
If you look at what it is, you look at what Farke said, he's openly said this, and it's completely out in the media now. He said, didn't he, after the Arsenal defeat, our board knows my feelings of what we should do in terms of a goalkeeper. And he even said, sadly, I won't speak about my opinions because he can't answer that honestly. And when Adam Pope spoke to him about transfers and incomings, he put no comment, but feels the club is ready to pounce if required. Yeah. The issue here is it's not Farke's fault.
It's not the manager's fault. I think the manager wants some things in, and he's not getting it at the moment. And he didn't get it in the summer. He hasn't got it now, and he's going to have to work with what he's got. And for me, the thing I have with Daniel Farke, Arron, is always smashing bloke. He seems like it, but he's not using the full length of the squad to its right ability for me. And
But the issue is, it's the quality, George. It's the quality.
There's quality there. I mean,
there isn't a lot of quality there. When you look at the chances we've created so far this season, we should be comfortably mid-table, but we just couldn't finish them. And you just look at you look at Calvert-Lewin as an example. If he goes down injured, we're screwed.
Yeah, exactly, and they're leaving themselves short. Nemecha's in and out the treatment table already. DCL will be injured towards the end of the season. Joe Perreault has barely had 100 odd minutes on the pitch and no goals at all. And then what? You know what I mean? Then what? There's no even any youth players been spoken of. There's nothing there. Harry Gray's doing well at Rotherham, but they're not going to just recall him and start him playing in the Premier League. They've really dropped the bollock by not getting in anybody. Now there's a deal sheet apparently going in here for somebody here, but nobody knows. Nobody knows. It's the man from Timbuktu. I don't know.
It's just disappointing, and I think we look at what we could have had and what we could have done, and I just think Adam Underwood, and I know he's had a bit of stick over the last couple of 24 hours, but their hands are really tied, and it's just ridiculous that they haven't been able to get things over the
They
line.
should have been able to get something. I mean, the hands are not tied in a sense that they.
And you look at the club, and it's very easy as fans for us to come here and say, the transfer window opens on the 1st of January. It shuts on the 2nd of February. You've got a month long to get this done. And obviously there's domino effects and all that sort of stuff. It's just incredibly frustrating. And I like the Championship, and I try and look at players in the Championship, but there's no players who really stand out to me in the Championship. I think there's been a real dip in quality in the Championship over the last 3 or 4 years. You can even look around there and see, right, who can we try and poach from there and bring them up? It's just incredibly difficult, and the transfer window has officially closed. And we're not expecting Leeds to sign anybody. But like what Carl says here, we've lacked ambition. PSR has restricted us, but free up funds by selling fringe players, fully utilise the loan market, and we haven't done that. Listen, really, bloody hell, I'd love Cole Palmer at Ellen Road, but Ian.
It seems every single year now at January, you think, we're kind of struggling in the okay. Well, we'll wait in January. We'll maybe get 1 or 2 in. We all, as fans, we all identify who we need and whatever in the positions that we need, and then it never really happens, does it? We didn't get anybody last time. Not that we really did in the end need it. I don't think we got anybody the time before potentially either. But when we got maybe we did. I don't remember. But we don't seem to be able to do these deals very well. I don't know who's running it, and people are getting antsy and frustrated, aren't they? But come Friday night when we win at Ellen Road, if they do, then everything's fine again. But still, I think while the transfer window's going on, you've got that little bit of hope of, all right, well, maybe we might get somebody in. Now it's closed. That's your lot for the rest of the year, even though I think the loan market does stay open for another kind of week, doesn't it? And look, there's free agents out there that you never know that they might be able to just pluck up. I don't know, who knows? But they don't seem to go down that route, do they?
Some major kind of transfer news which has happened today, just looking at here. Leo Kelder has gone on loan from Sunderland to Sheffield United. Mr. Phillips, Calvin Phillips, remember him, Leeds fans? It looks as though he's joining Sheffield United on loan for the rest of the season. Patrick Bamford's there. Chris Wilder is just clearly trying to replicate the old Bielsa squad to try and steer Sheffield United away from relegation issues. But there's no real, it's just disappointing, but that's probably it in terms of what we've got.
There's a Leeds connection. I mean, Calvin Phillips, like I said, he should have stayed at Leeds. He went for the payday. It didn't work out, and now he's scrapping on loan in the middle of the Championship. It's ridiculous, really, when you think where he was, 3-4 years ago. It's ridiculous, and he could have stayed at Leeds. Could have been a hero playing at Leeds. Could have done the Gary Kelly and did his whole career at Leeds. He could have done that. He went for something else. Hasn't worked out. And now he's scrapping back where he came from, pretty much back where he came from, mid-bottom of the Championship, scrapping around. It's ridiculous, really. But he's clearly just gone, right, toss it then. I'm going to go there. You can go back to Leeds and I can, drive to Sheffield every day.
Bit of breaking news. Crystal Palace have announced Jorgen is Palace. He's just tweeted that now.
Well, so good.
There you go. Good. It's officially a Crystal Palace player. There you go.
That's there good. You go, Carl. That is good, because then we can just put it to bed there, and
So well done, Leeds United, for sat there waiting and hoping for that one. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Beaten by Crystal Palace. Listen, good luck to him.
Well, I mean,
so that's it, isn't it? That's yeah.
We were beaten by Crystal Palace to him. We weren't beaten on the pitch by Crystal Palace. I mean, Crystal Palace really do need to get their act together. I mean, they're 29 points, 3 points ahead of us, aren't they, at this current moment? Palace aren't all that. They need their bodies in. Looks like Mateta's going to come back to them, but it's just a bit boring, isn't it? I mean, I know Baron Cross has now said, that's it. They're okay, so we've got no deal, Neil, for for a deal sheet. At least you think, oh, maybe a deal sheet will come, but we'll get something exciting on. But they're not going to bring anybody in, and he's just said they're happy to roll with what they've got, which is a real risk.
Just tweeting, just looking at Twitter live here now. Baron Cross, very reliable source, has just tweeted literally a minute ago saying the transfer window's closed. Leeds end it with the effective trade of Buonanotte and Harrison. Jorgensen Larsson was a swing they wanted to take, but Crystal Palace beat the price away from them. They are happy to roll with what they have.
Which is ridiculous, really, in a sense. Happy to roll with what they have and lump it all on some lad who scored one goal all season long for like 50 million quid. I don't understand it, Arron. I think it's very, it's very kind of assumptuous to say, hey, we're all right. Nobody's going to get injured. The squad's thin as hell anyway. But hey, okay, let's just not bother. I think it's a bit of a shame, really, and I think people will make their voices heard on Friday night. I think all's well if we win on Friday, and to be fair, the other side of the coin, and people are kind of happy. But I think whichever way you cook up the squad at the moment, we needed reinforcements in some way, and for them not to realise that, I think it'll be detrimental. And as sorry as people might say, I think we'll get relegated. And that is it. Yeah, and that's not off that, Arron. I think it's off the fact that Nottingham Forest have strengthened, West Ham have strengthened, Palace have strengthened, Tottenham won't be. Can pick up points like we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
And I just don't see where Leeds United are competing on a higher level than they have been at this moment in time. I can't see it happening, and I don't see where we pick up the points, really.
Well, I think it's a huge gamble which Leeds have done. Obviously, they've not really strengthened. You look at centre-back when they were linked with the German one earlier on in the transfer window. You look back and you think, right, well, obviously they've chased Larsson as well, haven't they? It's just where's plan B? If this thing doesn't go to plan, which the majority of the time for Leeds United it doesn't, where's your plan B? What's your other options out there? Because there are thousands of professional footballers out there, thousands who would come to Leeds United. They'd be on the first plane, they'd be on the first Black Bentley, they'd be anywhere.
You're right.
It's what I don't get is that they've completely wasted their time on trying to chase Larsson. We've had this in the summer with Paccio. We have just had complete daydreaming, thinking, oh, we'll sign him, and he wants to come. What it is you've got Adam, oh, well, he really wants to come to us, and we know his age, and he likes the season ticket, and he just wants to come to Ellen Road. What? No, he doesn't. He will go to the person that pays him the best wages. He will go to the place where they can strike a deal between Palace and Wolves. Wolves need to sell, because obviously they're going to get relegated. They need to get the cash now so they can prepare for life in the Championship. And it's just nonsense. It's complete nonsense.
Well, that's it. I mean, Wolves will take the cash now and put it into the Championship team.
That 50 million quid, whatever they're going to get, is going to be massive for them when they get relegated.
Oh yeah, it should be. And and Jimbo's saying, he's surprised he didn't sign any players. Saw links with Willie. I saw a few of them today of Willie going out somewhere, and Tyler Roberts, of course, as well, signed permanently from Mansfield. It's only to the end of the season. I mean, goddamn. I mean, come on now, ridiculous football player.
It's like what Carl says. It's like what Carl says, George. We lose Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Ampadu and Goodmanson to injury. We really struggle as Nemecha, Justin Bornaustrag are all very injury prone. We are going to be very, very light, and let's just hope that this does not come to bite us back on the arse when it comes the end of the season. Because it reminds me, when we signed, a couple of years ago when we had Weston McKennie, we think, oh yeah, we're going to be fine, and this, that, and the other. And we thought then we were going to be okay, but we just imploded. in the second half of the season when we were relegated.
I think that's it, Aaron. You've just got to be, all right, we're not doing any business. And I understand the trepidation of it and the fact that we're not going to do anything with the fact that other deals have gone wrong, the likes of Weston McKennie, you can say Ruter as well, which is in the same window. But I think, you have to say, let's go and get somebody. There's, like you said, there's thousands of people, thousands of professional football players up and down the land that would jump at the chance that probably have the metrics that they're trying to go off. What kind of silliness are you going off?
It's the laughing stock, George, that we've been made fools by the likes of Crystal Palace, by the likes of Wolverhampton Wanderers, where they've just strung us along, used as a bit of a bargaining tool. Wolves have used us as a bargaining tool to help, raise the price of license. Of course they have. And we've been absolutely made fools of. We're the laughing stock of the Premier League. We just can't get deals done. And that's the issue. We just can't get them over the line. You look at City, and I know they've got a lot of money. I know there are ways and ways, way apart. They went in for Gay and said, "Here you go. Yeah, Palace, there's 20 million quid. He wants to come to us. He's pretty much agreed a contract with us. Sell him or lose him." And they sold him and got, look what they got. Same with Semenyo. You look at that, what they did with Bournemouth. They said, "Look, we're interested. What's your price?" "Okay, here you go, done." Leeds had the money. They had upwards of 40 million quid. 40, just listen to that, 40 million pound in the bank ready to splash on a player.
Yeah,
and they couldn't get it done.
Apparently so, unless it was just a smoke screen or whatever. But I do believe there was the money there.
Yeah, I do.
If there's money there, then go and do it. I don't understand go so hard for one man and then when it goes tits up, you've got no another option. But I don't know. I mean, Michael says, "Hey, yeah, I do, mate. Watch a lot of Brazilian football. Of course, it started over last week, and we're well into it now. The match day one, couple of interesting results. My team, who I follow, have got a good result, a draw with the top of the tree, Palmeiras. But yeah, there's a lot of talent in there. There's a lot of talent in Brazil. We're seeing it with Ryan. He signed for Bournemouth. He came on and got an assist at the weekend, didn't he, already? So he's already up and running and doing well. There's lots of talent in Brazil that I think English clubs are now sort of trying to tap into at the moment. I don't know why Leeds haven't really gone there. I know we're interested or potentially interested in John, who was playing at RB Bragantino. He's now gone to Russia to play for Zenit. So we're interested here and there, but there are a lot of interesting, good, talented young players as well coming up through up through Brazil. Caio Jorge is one from Cruzeiro to look out for. Of course, there's Vitor Roque at Palmeiras, who was at Barca before, didn't quite work out. But again, these players you could probably get for a good fee. Memphis Depay is playing there, at Corinthians, and I know he's on a big whack of money, but you think maybe one of those lads could have a go. And there's free agents. I know you're going to laugh, Aaron, but there are free agents that you could have a look at maybe that.
But we shouldn't. But we should.
I think we should.
The issue. But we shouldn't be looking at free agents because it's just lack of ambition.
Not really.
It is because it's just complete nonsense.
Everybody in the comments there, is it lack of ambition if we were to go for a free agent, or would it be a viable?
Pre-season and the end of your season, you think, right, okay, like you look at Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he come in as a free agent in the summer, had a pre-season with us. You don't want to be looking at free agents mid-year. It's just nonsense. We shouldn't be doing that. We're a Premier League side, George. We're not in the depths of the Championship, scrapping for survival in the Championship anymore. And what gets me is you look at the amount of money which they had ready to spend. That's the issue. They just couldn't get it done.
Well, they couldn't, or they didn't want to. I think it's
they couldn't. No, they couldn't. That's the issue. They couldn't get it done. They were interested in Larson. They chased him. They probably chased him up and down the country, and they just couldn't get him done. Just couldn't get it. I said maximum, yeah, I'll take that. But would he want to come to Leeds? I can see him going over to Saudi Arabia and enjoying his time over there, if I'm being honest.
No, he's already been there. He won't go again.
He'll go again. Why
No,
not?
he won't. He'll come back to Europe somewhere. Obviously there was issues with his children, weren't there? And that was why he came back. So I don't know. I think he's maybe taking a bit of time to assess his options. I mean, he would be a fabulous option if but again, he's a winger. He's not a striker. He's not a striker, but again, he's better than what we have. And I think that's it. He's a lot better than what we have. If you look at the free agent window, there's probably some decent players to be had there.
Michael says, Arron, not many high-level players are going to come to a newly promoted club. They would only come to Leeds once they're an established Premier League club. Look at Palace, who can attract having won a cup in Europe. Yeah, you're completely right. But what I'm trying to say, Michael, is that money talks in this business. And, Leeds clearly had 40 million quid or whatever it was. It could be smoke and mirrors, who knows? But that's the figure which was reportedly thrown around. Surely, you could get 2 players for that. You could get one and one on loan. It's just money talks in this business and getting it done. Larson wanted to come to Leeds. His agent was a Leeds fan. You think, yeah, it's set in stone. I think Leeds banked on goodwill, if I'm being honest, and they just didn't back it up with and get things done. And it's just disappointing. And I hope to God that we're not here come May thinking, right, what's happened, and we can just point the finger at the January transfer window and say, well, we didn't strengthen.
I think it will be that, unfortunately. And we said we didn't strengthen. We got Buonanotte, but I don't think he.
That's not that much game time though this year.
Yeah, and I don't think
he gets a lot of time.
Yeah, I don't think he adds that much. Although I must say, he has looked all right in the moments that we've seen him. But I don't think he'll get much game time. He'll just go back to Brighton. I don't think there's an option about it. It's just straight loan. It's just a straight loan, so there's no real. There's no meat in that past the few games that he'll play, really. And I think it is a shame because I think we will go down, sadly. And I think it's just good. You're going to have to suffer another.
It's like we chased Harry Wilson, didn't we, back in the summer as well? You think, right, okay, he was in his final year of his contract. Just trying to get these deals done. And I understand we are a promoted side, but we're a massive club. We've got potential. And you look at the players which we've signed, you look at where we are in the league. Where are we? 16th in the league currently. We're not West Ham. We're not Palace. We're in free fall, by the way. We look like, a team which is trying to establish ourselves in the league when we can kick on. It's like this. You look at like what Michael says here, is the new recruitment board the culprit on not doing their job rather than any other reason? We just don't know. Or maybe Leeds said, do you know what? Let's keep that 40 million quid and just do a stadium development. You just don't know. Parag needs to come out and speak to the fans after this because it's just been
Yeah, I don't think we'll get anything from Parag, but I think people will voice their opinions of him on Friday. I'm sure a lot will be aimed at him. A lot will be aimed at Adam Underwood and, the people behind the scenes of not doing the jobs correctly. But, it must be difficult to get a transfer over the line in a way.
It is. There's so many stages to a transfer. But when you've got, as I say, £40 million in your bank ready to spend, and you can say, right, here are Wolverhampton Wanderers, here's 40 million quid, bang, 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 get it done. And I think looking at the Larson deal, I think it went for 43 million quid and 5 million in add-ons. It's just, it's 3 million quid. That's the difference. It's peanuts for a Premier League club. It really is.
Yeah, it just comes to maybe come down to his personal preference though as well. Nobody knows. There was that older thing about his agent's a Leeds fan, la la la. He's probably not a Leeds fan though, and he's probably thinking about what's best for him. He gets the brass. They stay up. They might continue the spell in Europe.
But
I don't know.
The point I've been trying to make, and I probably haven't explained myself clearly, is that they've had 40 million quid in the bank. Go and get somebody else.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Obviously, clearly.
Go and get somebody else. There are other people out there who are probably worth the same amount of money who would jump a chance to play in the Premier League. There are, and I know I don't say this often, but there are teams in in the continent who can go out and say, come to Leeds, blah 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 blah. You just think there are other teams and players out there, and they just couldn't go and get target B or target C. In fact, they probably didn't have any other targets. They probably just had their board in their boardroom and said, right, Larsson's the one we want. That's the one we're going to get. And they gambled and it didn't work.
Well, that's it. And that's what they always seem to do. Have a bloke.
Paccio, gamble. Let's do a PowerPoint and try and get him. Ooh, he's really interested in signing for Leeds. Buggers off somewhere else.
Well, that's it. You got to go to Europe and perhaps have a look at what's about. And they obviously didn't, and that was just just on them, and that's on them, and that's the fan base. It's the old adage of you got to get behind what we have. But unfortunately, I don't think what we have is one being utilised to the full potential, and two not really going to stay away from any injuries if we're injury. Two or three, like Michael or somebody said a bit further up, an injury to 2 or 3 important players in the side, and we're goosed, we're finished. I mean,
Michael says here, Leeds have just to survive, revalue the state of play in the summer, which players stay or go. Same for the manager. Then target players to recruit. I would target low hanging fruit. Yeah, potential, but the issue is it's. If you start changing there's a big clear out needed at Leeds. You look at that squad: Byram, Carnes, Melier. There's going to be a big overhaul in the summer, whether we survive or not. You look at that squad and you think, well, actually, who's really good enough to sit in there? I would argue, Byram will probably move on. Who else is in that squad who I've missed? Then you're going to start looking at the likes of Willie Nonto. You're going to start looking at the likes of Okafor. For me, has been crap. I think he's been useless. Perry, the goalkeeper. We're not back an approach for him. Darlow. You look across that pitch there and you think, well, actually, he could potentially go. He could go. You might want to cash in somebody like Brendan Aronson. You think, well, actually, if somebody comes in with a cheeky bit of 35, 40 million quid, is it worth it reinvesting into him? I personally would sell him. But you look across the board and you think, well, there's Pirot. There's a whole bunch of players. Dan James has had not much football this season. Beale. You look across and you think, well, this squad needs a complete rebuild.
I think the squad does eventually. Yeah, I think it. Obviously, we can't do it in one transfer window.
No, but you look across, George, and I hope you agree with me. You look across there and you think, well, actually, Carnes, Darlow, Melier, that's 3. So you're going to need another keeper in the summer, because I don't think that the goalkeepers which we've currently got are good enough. No. You look at the rest of them. Pirot, he will probably go in the summer if Leeds stay up. If Leeds go down, you keep him. Tanaka, where does he sit in this squad moving forwards? You can see some potential big money moves away from Leeds in the summer, regardless of survival or relegation.
Well, yeah, obviously, I think the squad will be, tinkered with, regardless of whether we go up or down. Obviously, if we go down, there'll be many of them probably leaving on loan, like realists, 369. So, a lot of people will be looking at Biol. People have been looking at Biol anyway. There's a few, that obviously, like you said, could potentially go for a bit of money. But, it's the Leeds thing to just stick with, a lot of the time, stick with what you got and see what happens. But I still think a free agent might be the one to look at. They clearly like it. They bought DCL on a free transfer. If they can get that going, then
I just think I think now you look at the window and how it's kind of happened at this stage of the season. I just can't see happening for this, because if they were a free agent, you got to get them up to match fitness, and when you need them to come in straight away and have an impact, you just look at it and think, well, I don't think they can do that. But I could be proved wrong. Let's have a look. Mighty Leeds. My little fruit pots, don't go to bed just yet. Go to bed, Mighty Leeds, because there's nothing happening. Who else have we got here? Typical Leeds window, says Richard. Just bored. It's up because we never use it yet. It's a waste of time, isn't it? I think they're on about scrapping the January transfer window at some point. There was a good keeper, went cheap, but we never brought him. I tell you what, we should have done. Yeah, Forest got a steal there. James Trafford would have been my keeper of choice. Go and get him on loan for the rest of the season. That's what I'd have done. Throw the money at him, get him in. He needs game time. It's a World Cup year. There you go.
It is. I mean, it is, definitely is. And I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's a World Cup year. You can, they've done the right thing of Forest. Forest have strengthened, Palace have strengthened, West Ham have brought a few lads in. We're the only ones down the bottom there that have stayed. So obviously, Burnley and Wolves are even getting. Angel Gomez signed, didn't he? He was going to do. I don't know if that went over the line. Even them, they're signing. They're looking towards next season potentially and saying, "Hey, we need players in." And I'm that's what you want. You don't want to stand still. We always seem to do it. Everybody says we always seem to do this, and we always seem to regret it. And in the end, they've not backed the manager. The manager is substandard anyway, who can't seem to get a lot of a tune out of this team.
No.
And so it mixes only one way, Aaron, and that is relegation. And that is relegation, and that is
you just can't blame this on Daniel Farke.
I'm not blaming it on Farke at all. I'm saying he hasn't been backed, but I'm saying he's not.
He hasn't, and he should have been.
He should have been. He should have been, but he is not. He's not of that. He's a subpar manager, really, for the standard that we're at, and to go forward. He gets sacked either way, I think, at the end of the season, either way, whatever way we go. If we go down, bye-bye. If we stay up, it's always adios. And, and that's fine. I'm fine with that.
That's just complete horse shit for people who are watching this live on YouTube, or if you're listening again.
It's not horse shit.
It's just, I can just do this. Look, it's complete utter nonsense. We should not be sacking Daniel Farke. We do not agree with that. Farke, for what he's doing, has done an incredible job. He is, for me, the person who should be in charge. If we change it now, you think, who the hell's going to come in? We don't. We haven't been backed. He hasn't been backed. He should have been backed. He wanted a keeper that he could. It wouldn't surprise me come the end of the season if he keeps us up. He walks away. He thinks, you know what, sod this. You just never know.
That's what I mean, Aaron. I think he might be.
He has done an incredible job, George. 2 defeats or whatever it is in the last 12.
He's done a decent job.
What he's got here is he's got a lot of draws. You look at the chances we've created over the last couple of games. We just haven't been able to, other than Arsenal. Let's forget that. That's completely gone. But you look at the Newcastle game. You look at the Brentford game. You look at the Sunderland game. You look at all the draws we've had since the end of November. It's led to this. We needed some more quality up front. We haven't got that. We're gambling on Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Lucas Nemecha and Dan James, because it wouldn't surprise me when them two get injured before Dan James up front like Jesse Marsh did. Hope for the best. It's just Pirot, for me, he's just not at it. He's just not good enough for this level. It's just disappointing.
Well, like you said, Aaron, everything will be overhauled in the summer. A lot of these championship players, Pirot, Byron, whatever, they'll all go. We'll bring in, but the fact is, you look towards the European market or the Brazilian market, like we said, there are some top good, for not a lot of money when you look at it, and players that we could have gone and got, and we didn't, and now Farke, I feel sorry for him because he's got to work with what he has. He was crying out for some more additions, and we haven't got them, and If we don't stay up, he'll be the man on the chopping block, because he definitely will.
And this is what Richard's there, bang on. Farke is doing a very good job, but he could make his job easier by buying a couple of players which he wanted. That's all we needed to say. And if for whatever reason Leeds do go down this season, the board need to say we made a mistake again. The 49ers, and let's not forget about these 49ers. They were there. Don't give me this, it's a new board and Parag's blah, 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 blah. They had influence. They were there. They helped finance the bloody Rutter deal, didn't they? They were part of that Radrizzani deal and Orta and Matt. It was all there. Really is.
Oh, they were, and I would have loved to. We'd have all loved to see somebody come in, but for now, we have to back them. We have to back them and say, "Hey, all right." But I just want to see maybe a different team on Friday. I want to see something different on Friday, and we all, don't get me wrong, Aaron. I'm not battering the manager. I think I feel like he deserves credit, and
well done.
And it's a disappointment. For him, that he hasn't, like I said, he hasn't been backed. He wanted some players, but unfortunately, I think regardless of that, the team as it stands, with a couple of injuries that might happen, that will happen, maybe suspensions happen here and there. We know how important the likes of Ampadu is to the team in the middle of the park there. One or two injuries happen, and we're starting to look a little bit thin. And Farke just. We'll cop it in the end, whether we stay up or not. And I don't know where we go, but
let's just hope
the lads have got enough, because
hopefully,
I think we can beat Forest on Friday at Ellen Road. If it was away from home, I'd be a little bit more nervous. But at Ellen Road against a team like that, I know we got heavily beaten on Saturday, which was poor, but it was expected in a way. I think the way it came about was very disappointing. But, we expected it, Ultimately, I think a defeat there is all right when we got what we did out of the West Ham and the other games. But we can really take advantage now and beat Forest, get them out of the way, and hope that West Ham drop points again. But, the home games are massive, because we've won one game away all season. We can only really, the best at the moment we can hope for away is a draw. And so you've got to win as home games. And I just think I do feel sorry for Farke, because I don't. He just hasn't got the quality of man that he needs to really produce the best football that we could otherwise. He's doing a decent job otherwise, but I do think that you look at it and you think, actually now would be. We needed that couple of bodies in to really reinforce our position. Now you look at it and you say, I don't think we've got enough, mate. I really don't.
Jimbo says he likes the Championship anyway. Yeah, George is angling for Klopp to get their job. He's
get the Red Bull. Get the Red Bull. Get the Red Bulls in.
George, then who would you suggest as new Leeds United manager? Then says Michael.
Who would you suggest
right
as Leeds manager?
Yeah.
I would suggest. Well, I tell you what.
Just give us number one name. Number one. Who do you want?
Well, I mean, you put me on the spot here, but I suppose I've been angling for it. No, you know what I'd do, Aaron, is I'd sack. If I was to sack him at the end of the season, or for him to go if he went by mutual consent, if he got fed up, which I don't see him doing actually. Enzo Maresca would be all right, Michael. But I don't think he'd come, would he, from being at Chelsea? I think, what I'd love to see is a Brazilian man, a Tite or a Cuca, or Hernan Crespo, who's doing a good job at Sao Paulo, or Felipe Luis, who's obviously won the league at Flamengo, something like this. Or I tell you, if we go down the Championship, now you will maybe have a laugh at this, Aaron, or maybe people in the comments will, or obviously we know Pablo Hernandez is doing a fabulous job. I don't think it would be outlandish to say that, he would be in the run if he was to get these promoters, Castillon. If Leeds came a knock-in at some stage, whether he would be given the opportunity, I would say he would. And I would say that
it's a big gamble, though, isn't it, George?
It's a huge gamble.
It's a huge gamble. I think you just I think what Richard said here, I think we don't sack him. Farke needs to prove himself. He can do this. He's already beat his tally.
He's done a marvellous job of getting
the whole stigma around Daniel Farke that he's not good enough is completely irrelevant now, because he's sure he can do it.
I don't think it's irrelevant, no. He hasn't shown he can do it until we stay up this season. If we stay up this season, he's proved he can do it.
Here's one for you then. If he does keep us up, he's out of contract next year. Do you give him another extension?
If he keeps us up, do I keep him in?
Yeah.
No. I send him packing either way, I think. I think we need to progress. I think, I was thinking about Aston Villa. I mean, Thomas Frank would be a decent shout for me as well, actually. Like Carl says, I think this is nearly done at Spurs. I think it'll be done in the summer. Yeah, I would say that was a decent shout as well. But I think, I just think that Leeds, they need to progress. And I think, look at Aston Villa. Aston Villa were in a poor position with Gerrard because he's a shit manager. And, they were doing poor. And, they swapped it up. They got Unai Emery in, and look at what they're doing now.
This is what the deadline day does to you, doesn't it, George? We're sat here, the transfer window closed 35 minutes ago, and we're talking about managerial replacements, even though we've got another 14, 15 games to go, whatever it is. It's bonkers, but hey, listen, that's how annoyed we are with the club, because we could see it as fans. We just hope that the board take note, really, and just bank on Farke keeping us up with what he's got. And I don't know, it's just incredibly disappointing, chasing the wrong players, and just disappointment again for Leeds. When will we ever get a window right? I don't think we will.
I don't think they will. We'll be waiting a long time here, Aaron. We really will. We're really disappointed, I think, with the way that it's been thrashed out. And
anybody in the comments before we go off, does anybody agree? Is anybody happy? Is anybody happy with what we've done?
I mean, I'm okay with buying in what's his face. I think Buonanotte, he's all right, but I think I would have liked the lad that there was a Spurtsian, again, the Russian guy who obviously or the Armenian that we've been looking at. I think I would have just liked to see a bit more done. Strand Larsen, when it came out, everybody was like, "Oh, okay, wow." But it just went on for too long. And, there's loads of options. There was a man linked this morning, Adams from Sevilla, who could have maybe done something. 6 goals so far this season.
We've been linked with every man and his dog, and we just can't. We could be linked all day long, but we just can't get a player over the line. It's like what Michael says here. The key. Well, listen, Michael, I hope Adam Underwood is listening. The key is to target recruit players before the World Cup. Should they have a really good World Cup, that player's valuation will increase, like Gakpo, who Leeds tried to get before the 22 World Cup. Absolutely. They won't get it done.
Don't want to do stuff. I think it's just, support. It can be a treacherous road at times, really, but you just think, well, hell, come Friday, everybody will be excited for the game and be up for the game, and the transfer window will be forgotten about. And I think once you get,
if we lose that game on Friday,
I think if we lose, it will get toxic.
We couldn't sign Zara Larsen. Never mind Strand Larsen. Listen, I completely agree, David.
I mean, there was one
door if it was given to us, if we're being honest.
Billy Barndor, Billy Painter.
Billy Barndog can't do anything.
Could have done with Billy Painter, couldn't we? Aaron, you know, he'd have done all right, wouldn't he? Or Billy Sharp or Billy Painter. I mean, back in the day, you know, you're thinking, oh, those two are a good front two, you know.
Yeah.
Was, you know, could do with what's his name on you know, Solomon Dukara twatting it in from however yards out it was on Friday. Bloody hell, that broke the goal. I think it's still rising up into space.
Well, listen,
and
a disappointing end to the window, George.
Obviously, it's Friday. You know, it's Forest on Friday, Aaron. Now, can you tell me, Aaron, were you at that one that they absolutely thumped us and they scored 7?
Yeah. I was.
So was I. You know, I could have said hello to you.
If we win on Friday, Fernie one says that if we win on Friday, all be forgotten, but if we lose, it will get toxic. A lot of rumour in the Summer Hours recruitment board, but we're low. Balling targets, is that another way of saying the recruitment team didn't want to have their pants pulled down? Example, Larson, maybe. We just don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. We're going to see how the roller coaster plays out. Don't forget as well, before we wrap things up, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. We want to get those numbers up. It doesn't cost you anything. It's not like an Amazon Prime subscription or Netflix. It's just when we go live, you'll see us. It'll give you a little pop-up notification. And yes, Michael,
Michael says about
we need Burnley to beat West Ham.
Would you have a draw at this stage? I don't know.
We just want Burnley to beat them so that they can still remain. Well, they ain't going to stay up. It's as simple as that.
No, I don't think Burnley will. I think they've won one game in about 500 matches. They just draw them all, don't they? Oh, it's another one. Oh, we've drawn again. It's another one off the list.
God. Anyway.
Yeah.
But we will be back.
We're linked with Jaden Anthony, Aaron, I think, the other day. I think.
Listen, we were linked with Ryan Kent. Why not?
Well, I don't know. I think he's a free agent. Hey, what about Sterling? You know, he's a free agent now, isn't he?
Yeah, well, listen, Leeds won't sign him. We can't afford his wages.
Well,
Jimbo's last one, Jimbo, before we wrap things up. Forgot to mention who liked Haaland's Leeds salute. I think we all did, didn't we, George?
Oh, it was wonderful. You know,
lovely.
You know, it was great to see that. You know, it was great.
Yeah. If someone likes program after on a rerun, watch Arron, they can hype the show. Yeah, please do. Give us a share.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd really appreciate it. But hit that bell and give us a little notification, a subscribe or whatever it's called. I don't even know what it's called. We're all disappointed. George, we'll be back later on in the week with the main pod, won't we?
Yes. Yeah, towards then we'll look towards Forest. I don't know whether it be Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever. But on the eve or the day before the game, or the day before the game. So I don't know, but we'll be back before then to look properly at Forest and look back on them. I believe we can beat them. And a raucous Ellen Road. Forget about the transfer window. Get the boys going well, and you just got to say, "Hey, this is us locked in now. Let's see what we can come up with, and let's see your best 11s. Let's get them out. Let's see the best 11s."
Well, we'll see. We'll discuss all that later on. Maybe Wednesday. Thursday.
No, just before we go, Aaron.
Go on.
You know, I don't know if anybody got an email today. I know you're a season ticket holder. Did you get an email today, Aaron?
An email? No, I don't know.
From the club?
Emails. I don't know why.
Oh, did anybody else get an email from the club in the comments there below?
What was the email? What was
it?
The
Was
email?
About it was season ticket holders and members. Doing this quiz night show with legends, and you can have a chance to go up against legends on a quiz team, something like that. There was prizes to be won.
Right, there you go. Why you wanting to go?
I don't know, mate. You know, one of them things, isn't it? I'm not either one of those, so I can't.
There you go. So we'll be back later on in the week, reflecting on that. We'll have our usual features and stuff, and we'll be back then. But a disappointment.
Saying he got offered a game. Did they offer you a contract, Yoda?
We're trying to wrap things up.
Look at this.
There you go. We will Can you hear me still, George? Here we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll just leave you with this, George. You're driving your black Bentley away, and if those who are listening on the pod, you'll see a picture. Well, you won't see a picture, but George is in his Bentley with his Leeds top on and his beard outside Ellen Road, and he's just tried to, maybe get a free agent or something. I don't know.
On the way.
He's going to go drive down to Chelsea and get Raheem Sterling on a free.
Exactly. I'm on my way, Raheem. Keep the door open and put a cup of tea on.
Cheers, everybody, for listening, and we will see you later on in the week. Bye-bye.
See you then.